Welcome back, everybody. And today we're going to go over the Real OG AI, the revolutionary kind of software that myself and Brian have created that has been by far helping out tons of course creators, tons of coaches, and anybody out there that's using Zoom calls regularly because it creates massive amount of contacts. I thought, what better way to kind of like go out there and showcase. We've been running our beta for a while now. People are really having some really great reviews. Well, obviously, we're working out some kinks and bugs. But again, you got to see how powerful this tool is. And if you're a course creator or a coach, this is definitely going to be the tool for you. But you guys kind of know me by now. Like, I really hate talking about everything. I'd rather just show you everything so you guys see what it's all about. So you guys know that we're not really pulling smoke or a veil underneath your eyes or above your eyes, whatever the saying is, and actually walking you through. So without further ado, I want to introduce my incredibly good friend and partner here, Brian Bogard, who is eloquent speaker, way better than I am. And today we're actually going to show you the behind the curtains and give you another sneak peek at what the Real OG can do that I believe you guys will really enjoy. So Brian, take it away, man. What do you want to show us today, man?
Yeah, well, I'll try to speak better than you, but one thing we do have in common is we're both dyslexic. So we do really require ourselves to leverage and lean on these tools wherever possible. And that's honestly part of the reason that I created it is I wouldn't sit down and write something, but I wanted to be able to compress time. So look, we demoed the workflow. We had the little hiccup in one of our last videos, which showed you guys like we're real and we're raw. But the same thing is true here. What I want to walk you through today is just a little recap of what are the documents? How do they start to come through within your Gmail box? And then how do you access them? And what are the purposes of each one of them? In the most simplistic sense, when you start the tool and the first Google Drive folder is shared with you, you're going to get a document in there that's going to say, welcome, open this first. Okay. Now I'm going to preview what that document is. Nuno, can you throw that up on the screen? I've got it ready to share. But what is this? This is a document that's just letting you know what you just bought into, what you're going to get. Now, what does this break it down into? We told you get 7 highly produced documents written authentically in your voice with just a singular 1-hour transcript and about a 20-second upload, right? You get 3 internal deliveries and 4 external deliveries. So the reason that I highlight this is that it's split this way on purpose, especially for people who are running masterminds or you have specific people that you're consistently working with. The internal meetings are going to be designed to send back to your mastermind members, to the podcast guests, to the webinar guests, whoever or whatever you're featuring in this case. And it will often be specific to who was ever in the room. So the meeting summary is the very first thing, okay? It's a high-level written recap. It's going to hit on emotional breakthroughs. It's going to hit on core takeaways. It's going to hit on the calls to actions. It's going to hit on the participant contributions. And it's going to organize it in a way that tells a story so that you really can recap the story. This email is going to be written, again, designed for internal to send back out to those people as a recap, a very quick high level that's less detailed than the summary and ultimately can redirect them back to either a shared drive, a Skool, a learning management system, whichever one you're using, or wherever you're storing these files. And then there's a timestamp summary. This is going to be like a podcast style timestamp summary that's going to break it down into speaker attributions and timestamps. Now, let me show you what these look like just so you can get a feel for these. But each one of the internal ones will have the names of the participants. It will be more detailed and less lined or less scrubbed like the external documents, which we'll show in just a second. Now, I just had someone from
actually, before we go through, let's just make sure that we kind of give everybody like a little bit of a learning that we had. So in going through all this, and again, going through our beta, this is why it's still in beta. And by the way, we have very limited time spots for beta because we are going to be coming out of beta soon. So people are claiming their lifetime deal with beta, meaning they're going to get the lifetime pricing of beta versus, again, going into the bigger pricing when we're going to have this launch to the public. Because again, we're working out all the bugs, we're working through it, we're being attentive to what their customers are saying to ensure that they're getting the best quality. But something that's really important and what makes this work really, really well is that inside of your Zoom account, you usually get a VTT file when we record on the cloud. Now, that VTT file is incredibly critical for 2 main reasons, and we want to make sure we express those reasons. One is it's going to give timestamps, and it has the actual speaker name whenever somebody's delivering, because again, that's when people log into Zoom, they're logging in with their name, and it automatically assigns the voice and the recording and the transcript to that individual's names, which makes this the reason why these work so well. So without the VTT file, the quality is not going to be as good as if you would just upload a video. Now, we have a separate process for that on its way and we're developing. But in the meantime, to take full advantage of this, to get the best quality reporting in all these documents that Brian's about to show you, you will require a VTT file. And usually that is done with a cloud recording. Now, we also are working on a way that for anybody that's saving these files locally, we're figuring out a way to get the VTT file. So stay tuned for that. But again, we'll update everybody as it's going in there. And we're going to have a process for either or. But I want to make sure that everything you're about to see goes off of your Zoom VTT file, which is automatically produced with a cloud account. And if you don't know how to turn that feature on, we have instructions on how to do that. But again, that is a critical component that what makes this thing beautifully work.
And one additional piece to that, because that is critical and we needed to make sure you understood that. The VTT is ideal. Text document will work only if there are still those speaker attributions and timestamps. So in theory, both VTT and text will work. And if you don't have those settings set up in Zoom, like Nuno mentioned, we can walk you through that. There are other ways though as well. If you have an Otter AI, if you've got a Fathom, if you've got a recording bot, if you have any of these other things that are coming in, many of those will also produce a transcript with timestamps and speaker attributions in either VTT or text. So we're working on having it be all built into the program so you don't have to worry about plugging anything else in. However, that's why I'm really happy you slowed us down there. What I want to show you guys is how quickly and easily this can be done. I had a team member of mine yesterday go back from our mastermind and upload all of the recordings since January, and they did this in literally less than 30 minutes. So all of our mastermind meetings in less than 30 minutes were transcribed and set up. Now within this folder, you're going to see each one of the assets produced. I've got the first one open. This meeting summary, as you can see, is already written. It highlights what it is, what the core teachings are, what the emotional breakthroughs were in the room. Again, there's specific names that I'm trying to block out so that you can't read what happened in some of the emotional stuff in our own room. But I want to be able to demonstrate this transparently, the actionable takeaways and the call to action, right? It then, like I said, will immediately produce, this is the wrong one. I've clicked on the wrong one. We're going to go to the email recap. The email recap, again, is the internal document. It will give you multiple subject lines. It's going to write it very specifically into the voice. And again, it's going to go through an introduction. It'll hit on session highlights, the participant contributions, and then the actionable takeaways. Now, here's where it gets really cool because many times, especially for me, if you haven't noticed so far, I speak fast. But what I find is whether I'm speaking fast or someone else isn't, timestamp attributions really help in lesson and learning environments because you can literally go in and understand how to navigate the replay, the transcript, the video file to rewatch a coaching piece or a lesson. And what this does is it breaks it down in a timestamp like a podcast. It tells you what the topic is, what the relevance of it is, and who was speaking so that you can go back in and navigate the call with ease. Now, I'm going to come all the way back because I just showed you the internal files. Now it produces 4 external files. Why? We believe in educational marketing tools. We believe in being able to use your knowledge, your wisdom, your assets, your voice, and the unique way that you deliver this to create SEO and AEO maximized assets that can be distributed on multiple different platforms. So the very first external document that gets pulled in is what we call a PR style article. It's going to average in range anywhere between 1,000 and 1,500 words on average. So it's already in the same size and length for most PR specific platforms, but it's going to be polished. It's going to have thematic shifts within it, and it's still going to be representing the core lessons, the key takeaways. But here's the big distinguishing factor between this and any of the meeting summaries or anything else. One, it's not only written as an article, but it normalizes and scrubs all the names of the participants. So it will now reference in an ambiguous way people within the group so that publicly you're not exposing any of your folks. It then takes that exact same article and rewrites it in a format that's maximized for LinkedIn, utilizing their emoji platform, their hashtags, the keywords that work specifically for that, and again, written to be authentically represented in the voice that you determine. It immediately in that same piece already does the 300-character short description that's required to post the LinkedIn. So again, it's all congruent and consistent. And then it produces an external promotional email so that you can send it out to your broader list or otherwise to send people back to the articles, to the lessons, or whichever resources you want to continue to create. Now, we are creating more assets for all of this, but what I want to show you before we move on is the ones that we currently have. This PR written article, as you can see, it's got these thematic shifts that are in it. It already is going to go through. You can see a participant. It already scrubbed the information, and it's still pulling this out in a way that is actionable, that's clear, and it's easy to follow. We do the same thing on the LinkedIn side. As you can see, we start getting some of the emojis in here, not in a way that necessarily exposes this as AI written, because all of the external documents are already scrubbed for all AI indicative patterns. They're maximized for SEO and AEO, and they are removing things that are already starting to be able to identify when it's AI writing. This is maximized for LinkedIn, and it puts the post right here so that you can move it. Those two end up in the same document.
Now, let me pause there real quickly. Again, something that is happening right now in the internet space, more so in the AI space, there's something called AI slop. AI slop is basically when AI throws a bunch of jargon and crap that makes it sound not like you. AI, it's really getting really easy to pick up because they're using the same exact words over and over again to identify articles while you're writing and so forth. So the goal of what we're doing here is to eliminate all that so it keeps the voice of the actual speaker. And we have bots that are digitally working hard to scrub all that craziness and all that slop out so you're sounding like the authentic you. And again, for all of you that don't know who Brian is a coach that brings out the authentic voice in you. And he's been doing it for years with some incredibly big names, and he's incredibly good at it. So we took Brian's brain and his style of like bringing the authentic person out and then drove it into the AI to ensure that it's doing that every single time. And again, this is going to be the difference. Then you go into ChatGPT and help me write an article based on the Zoom transcript that I'm going to give you, because you're going to immediately see all that AI slop completely fill that article. And again, this is where what's going to separate you in the next, like, let's say several months to years, because you're already trying to keep your authentic voice instead of all the others that are out there that are going to try to keep on just printing AI generated stuff. You're like, here's this, do that. Here's this, do that. Versus here's this is my voice. This is my style. Let's keep it. And without any additional things that you have to do, you literally plug it in, and the assets and the bots that we created, again, with their own IP and things that we've developed on our own, knowing AI, knowing authentic voice, understanding how to pull all that out to ensure that you're getting the best quality feed. So just want to make sure we're keeping that massive distinction in mind, because that is the major difference here, on top of producing great assets that you can leverage in your business.
And I don't in any way mean to like brag or pad my own ego on this, but I think we referenced it before. A lot of my clients who've been using ChatGPT for years were calling me ChatBMB for the last few years, because they would go to ChatGPT or they'd go to something and they'd try to get it produced and they couldn't get it. And then they'd bring it back to me and we would rework it, whether we used AI or not. And we would always get it more dialed into their voice. And so I took a lot of that methodology that you referenced that I've been hired for years, helping people get clarity in their messaging, their authentic voice, how they want to deliver things. I am a communication architect in many ways for folks, just getting clarity in their own message. One of the primary pieces that drives this is a voice, tone, and message bot has over 22 different areas and criteria that we are identifying to be able to actually focus it specifically to someone's voice. And then we have not only reviews, but we've got literally check marks, because with AI, well, the reason all this slop comes in, it's based on the quality of what you feed it, based on the quality of how you direct it, and then based on the quality of the guardrails that you're willing to consistently reinforce in an iterative manner. And if you yourself as a human don't have the patience to do that, we've built that in a way so that you don't have to even think about it. I'll just show you the last document that we currently have here that pulls it all together. It's now the promotional email for you to send out to your broader list that recaps all the lessons, right? In my world, though I do this work, not everybody knows I have a mastermind. But when I start sending out these messages and these emails to my group, hey, here's where the mastermind was. Now all of a sudden, people have the ability to make the work that we're doing, they may not have even known about, tangible and relevant to themselves. They see themselves in the story of someone else. They see themselves in the solution that we created for another person. They understand why there's the gap of this in their business, in their leadership, in their teams, with their wife, spouse, kids, because all these things come down and they're real. And so we wanted to just give you a feel for exactly what happened. But like I said, in less than 30 minutes, my team was able to run all the way back to January, which we run basically weekly masterminds, and to do so in a way that was easy. It was easy. It took less than 30 minutes. And we obviously have an insert human. We're reviewing it all and scrubbing it all. But we already have multiple different assets that are in design, because we also see where this can grow to and the simplicity that we can create for each of you.
Yeah. And the thing of it is too, Brian and I have keep talking about it, in a world full of where you're going to have AI generated stuff kind of flooding the market for the next, like, probably 1 to 2 years. You already see like bits and pieces of people already starting to reject AI. And I'm telling you, this is one of my predictions. If you guys go back and watch my prediction videos, there will be a human renaissance resistance at some point in time where people are going to say, I want it certified that was written by a real human being. And people are going to start having to stamp things that are like written by a human, made by a human, painted by a human, because that's how much AI is really going to take a difference. And by you already kind of like going after the AI generated stuff and really ensuring that your still voice is there while you're still kind of using AI to, again, and Brian puts it eloquently where he says, I'm trying to compress time. I'm a busy entrepreneur. I run like now 3 businesses going on 4. And I can tell you, it is incredibly tough. Brian and I talk about it all the time. We just don't have enough time in the day to give you all the assets that I'm willing to give. Like, I would give everything away for free if it fed my family, but unfortunately, sometimes it does not. And I have to run a business at the same time. So I need to somehow compress time so I can keep on delivering everything that I do, but do it in a way that is easier for me to do so and provide more time for myself and my family and so forth, right? And here's the assets. And doing all that while maintaining your voice and integrity is like pretty high on the list. And again, follow my predictions. I'm telling you, in the next 1 to 2 years, either all AI stuff will either be very filtered and very kind of flushed out, and then people are going to start looking for genuine again. And if you're ahead of that curve while it hits, you'll be ahead of the curve while it hits, and you'll be able to take advantage of it as you kind of ride the wave into the next prosperity, right? So just think about that as you're going through all of this, because that's a differentiator between this and every other AI that's out there. Anybody can go to ChatGPT and like, hey, summarize this Zoom call and let me send it out to my clients. Not everybody can do it. Summarize it with 22 points of ensuring that it's not AI generated and making sure that it maintains and keeps the quality of my voice and inspires and delivers and does whatever the things that I want it to do. So just keep that in mind as you're going through all that.
And time compression, just to clarify for everybody, time compression, the reason that word is used is because this isn't just speed for speed's sake. This isn't just automation for automation's sake, right? Because when that happens, what we're also doing is you're handing your greatest asset, your voice, the things that create your impact, the things that make you uniquely you, the reasons that people buy from you, resonate with you, connect with you. They don't allow those components to be diluted in whatever output is there. I don't want any of you who have these expertises, that's wisdom, that you've built podcasts, you built masterminds, you built communities. You did it because you care about impact. The more you dilute your voice, the more you dilute your impact. And so we really, really care about this. And to Nuno's point, part of what I talk about is with this evolution of AI, I do believe that it's the greatest investment that anyone can make in their businesses and in their lives right now, right? It helps us truly compress time. It helps us aggregate data. It helps us see patterns better. It helps us communicate better. It helps us connect better. It helps us any number of things. But what I always bring this back to is I'm not talking about artificial intelligence, everybody. I'm talking about awareness and intentionality. And without that, I don't care if you're struggling in leading your teams or you're struggling to lead technology. It's the same root issues. Until you are aware and intentional in how you want to be represented, in the guardrails that you protect your voice, your assets, your impact, right? You're handing it over to someone else or something else. And so if you want AI to work for you, double down on increasing your awareness and intentionality and protecting your voice, your asset, and your impact. And I promise you, you'll scale and be sustainable far beyond this AI craze that Nuno has been predicting for a long time now.
Yeah. So with that being said, thank you again for joining us. Hope you guys check it out. Again, get in while beta's hot. And then more importantly, go out there and just really kill it. And again, our main goal is to help you compress time, like we mentioned, keeping awareness and intentionality, the new version of our AI that we're trying to really bring forth, and making sure that you guys are fully taking advantage of the things that are in front of you to help you not only grow faster, give you time back so you can spend with your families, and just really get this, the money you deserve and building the kind of outcome and the future you want to have, right? So all with having AI doing it, but not losing yourself in it. So that being said, thank you again, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.